Feels like we were enjoying this family drama, and then they needed to change one actor or actress, but they didn't want to change the character or write them out. So they're just like, yeah, it's still Aatrox. And everyone's like, this person has brown hair. You didn't even dye the hair.
Yeah, they act totally different. How can this be the same person?
Well, that's what happened. So I think we've seen our last Aatrox. KT have a flex Aatrox situation, so we don't want to deal with that. And result is that Keen was our last Aatrox, and he was probably our most Aatrox also. So I guess shout out to Keen. Zooming into this draft, Zoe's not going to make it through. That part is clear. What KT want to ban last on the red side. No funnels so far today, and MVP's going to ban away the Swain. The Yasuo mid lane didn't end up being the right answer.
The Nocturne has to be the last ban here, so MVP will get a decent pick of the litter here. Trying to see what made it through. The Rakan, definitely something that could be picked up. KT delaying this one a lot. I don't think you really want to give the Nocturne over. There it is. And what will MVP decide to do?
A lot of different ways you can interpret this draft. A Rakan first pick would not be too surprising on the blue side. It's a big pick for a lot of teams. Sejuani's gone as some global fans. Hey, go Queensland. Well, there's not that much rivalry between WA and Queensland, so we'll allow it. Very nice. And it is the Rakan first pick for KT. Will they just steal away the Xayah? That's the only downside to first picking Rakan. Rakan's still powerful. Max can still use it as an initiator, but the flex Xayah Rakan mid or bot lane with the funnel strategy is what you really want to avoid, and it's what you're really threatening with a first pick Rakan. So I just like the takeaway Xayah. It also means you can either take Camille or not worry about Camille being given over, because we've already seen the outplays by Ruler on that Hextech ultimatum.
Seems to be the pretty straightforward draft so far. Xayah picked up what will score. Look to pick up the Galio pick, actually, here.
They're almost taunting MVP to take Camille, because we all know about the Galio and Camille synergy, Hextech ultimatum, and Hero's entrance for the Goomba Stomp. That's what I love to call it.
Yeah, and Yandu's like, please don't make me play Camille again.
Against Xayah and Galio.
Please don't make me do it, coach.
Well, not so far, as they're considering Aurelia here. Not going to be around, and they'll just take the Trundle. Now, Trundle can steal away the stats if you go Aftershock Galio, which is pretty common, and do some cool things with the ultimate. Otherwise, full AP expected from Yukal on the Smeb. So the third pick is here for MVP. Something like the Ezreal, if they want it again. There's always the chance it's going to be a struggle, and maybe it's going to be Vladimir to deny away another diver from KT. They already have the Xayah, so it wouldn't necessarily be a bot lane Vladimir. And in the end, they do digress. It does end up being an AD carry, but not the Ezreal. A bit more lane presence in the Lucian.
Yeah, Pilot a bit more presence on the Lucian. Is 1-1 on the pick. Only has one loss on Vlad so far.
We're going to see here from KT, we were thinking maybe the Camille, but they might be experimenting with a third game on the Kindred. See what they want to take it. Bit of hunting season for score if they lock this one in, and they will. So they do like the Kindred into Trundle. Matchup makes sense because you can skip around the pillar and not be disengaged as easily by the Trundle. We've already seen a Kindred fall way behind today and be kind of useless. Now, we should mention that in that game, we were screaming for a mid lane Galio to go along with the Kindred. We are getting it here, so it is a frontliner. At least one on their side. I wonder if Smeb will try and call for a Rumble this game, because Smeb, Rumble, it's what we all know about. I was speaking to Khan in the makeup room about Rumble, and he said, well, there's only one good Rumble player left in Korea.
Yeah.
I said, is it Smeb? And he laughed and said yes. So with Marin gone, people really only respect Smeb's Rumble. Is buffed on this patch. Fun to see, but no guarantee we get it on the red side.
It would definitely be a KT thing, where Smeb is like, hey, we bopped them in game 1. Please, coach, put me in on Rumble. And then we see him on Rumble, and they just feed so hard because it's KT, and then we go to game 3.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Wait, have you read the script again, Valdez?
I would never do that.
You're not supposed to read the script?
I hate spoilers, Papa.
Well, there's not going to be a Ken in this game, as Smeb is going to have one of his legendary champions banned against him.
Thank the Lord. I'm not a big fan of Kennen either. I'm sure you guys can tell. Shen going to be picked up here.
I love me some AP Kennen. And look, it's some parents, and I believe it's Marta's parents. There you go. And that's the first time I've seen Marta's parents at the studio, so welcome. Your son's pretty good at League of Legends. They're not listening to the English radio, by the way, so they missed that.
Why not?
I don't know.
They're making a big mistake.
Now, if we see what is effectively a blind pick on the Singed, we may actually see Rumble.
Smeb's licking his lips.
He's going to play Rumble because Huni played it in this matchup earlier. So I have a big feeling we're going to see Smeb on Rumble again.
The least exciting thing would be to see the Shen flexed up into the top side and have him play Shen, even though he's a great Shen player.
He's going to play Rumble. All right, Smeb, play Rumble.
Papa's already got it figured out, guys.
He's saying, yeah, Rumble. That's what we need. We really need Rumble.
Just trying to read his lips.
Oh, that's not Rumble.
Didn't sound like Vlad, but I guess it is going to be the Vlad.
Rumble does get run over by Singed eventually, but early game it's so painful for the Singed that it's seen as a pretty decent matchup. Instead, it's going to be Vladimir, just pressing Q on him a lot. Still the same sort of AoE wombo, still a mage, still quintessentially Smeb. We definitely don't see so much top lane Vlad in this particular meta.
Smeb calls for it. He's like, I would like a change of pace. It's been a while since I played me some Vladimir. He hasn't played it all of this split so far. So, says, bring back the top lane Vlad. I'd like to have a little bit of fun. But realistically, it's good. You know, you can sustain up in the top side. You're not going to be crushing the Singed early on, but you can go toe-to-toe with him. You can clear the waves pretty easily eventually.
It's been one of ADD's best picks, and he was strong enough to blind pick it. They didn't want to give a secondary initiation of an Ornn, and Singed is seen as a blocker pick into many initiating tanks. So you get a Vladimir, who still can pile on. But this game is really about the ultimatum when it comes to, not the ultimate, I should say the hero's entrance when it comes to initiation. They kind of need Vladimir to be the conduit for that one.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get into the back line. Also, Mata could try to go Rambo and have a Galio hop on top of his head.
I'm hoping our observers stick on the mid lane, because I think the 2v2 here is really interesting. The Galio taunt plus the damage from Kindred can be massive, but also the Syndra into Galio is an interesting pick. It's been something that we didn't see so much in the past. The kill threat, the one rotation certainly isn't there, but it is ultra comfort for both ADD and Ian, bringing back the Syndra from way back when.
Yeah, hasn't played it this split. We've seen a couple of other players play it. Kuro bringing it in one time, but we'll see if he can make it work here in the summer as the countdown has started for game number 2 of KT versus MVP. Come on, new Cal, give us some more.
He had to hold up because ADD and Yondu broke the dance treaty. There always is when good old Birdio is in the game. Yukal had the 5-man taunt last time out on Birdio. That basically won them the game against Griffin.
That's one of those moments, if you guys missed it, where Papa, it feels like one of those moments where you might have blown out your voice from 6 days of casting for 3 weeks now in a row, but somehow you're still here.
Yeah, knowing my limits has been helpful for the pitfalls of my current schedule, but I still got to get excited when I'm excited, and a 5-man taunt can't get much more men than that.
That was the big moment. I was watching from home. There are rare times where I will type a poggers into the chat amongst all the other billions of Twitch chat viewers, because that's how many viewers we have, of course.
Billions.
And yeah, I was one of those guys. It was a gigantic moment.
Sorry, I was amused by ADD of running at Smeb. Smeb is a hipster, by the way, with a marquee Vladimir skin. This is the one where he's 1 foot tall. Have you noticed? He's tiny. Look how much bigger Singed is. Look how much bigger Singed is. It's ridiculous.
One day they're going to fix the proportions on that Vlad skin, I hope.
It's always been like that. He is so small.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Why did they decide that?
It's French. I don't think French people are small, but that seems to be what Riot thought in 2010.
They've come so far.
Well,
Smeb having trouble with the CS now. Okay, there you go.
he'll be fine. He's not gonna. It's very difficult to proxy Vlad unless you proxy him at like level 2 or 3, because eventually he just gets super annoying. In the bot lane, gonna be some good pushing options for Pilot, as Max and Deft are the star-crossed lovers in this game. I'd watch a Deft Max duo lane. I bet it'd be pretty good.
Not as good as Def Mata, though.
No.
The original is always better.
Weird to say the Deft Mata is the original, but it's 2018 and many things have happened.
Yeah. It's the world we live in, the year we live in. It feels weird that this is the meta now, that star-crossed lovers is going to be a norm. The two lovers are going to be separated from each other quite a lot, especially in LCK. But we'll hold the thought. Enough of the lovers, as ADD getting some love from the Kindred in the jungle. Looking for the flip onto Smeb. ADD will get the fat wall flash. So will score, though.
That was an old man flash right there. That was a real old man flash.
I really don't know about that one.
I think Rush would have flashed that better. I'm going to put it out there.
You think so?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure.
I think anyone could have flashed that better.
He just didn't want to face plan it, but then, of course, he took too long, and it just ended up being a bad flash. Look, he's been around a long time, guys.
It's better than failing the flash. I'll say that.
Exactly.
I will say that. So he's got that going for him.
Oh, Score. Never leave us. And speaking of Score, because of his exaggerated time on the flash, he will lose out on a couple of Raptors to Yondu.
Yeah. Fortunate moment there. Syndra doing a thing, pushing in the mid lane, is going to be ahead of the Galio in terms of CS early on, before the Galio gets much MR.
Shen having the lesser lane presence to the Rakan is what's hurting Deft and Mata in this lane, but only to the tune of, I guess, 2 CS, I guess would be the reality, because he's going to get at least one of the ones on the turret. And
you were right that he missed this. Oh, never mind. Oh, no, that was the next wave. I think you were right that he missed that last CS.
You seem really insistent on telling me how right I am. Do I?
No,
I don't actually judge your paycheck over here.
In calling out the player when he misses the CS. It's one of my favorite pastimes.
You also do the good play-by-play caster thing of being like, wow, what a profit, when I'm like, maybe they will first pick Rakan. You're like, oh, profit! I'm like, no, like that's what everyone does. Or like, I think MVP might want the Sejuani. Anyone who opened up a database would know that also.
You know, we have a couple of people who haven't watched the LCK in a while. It's up to me, myself, Atlas, and Achilleos to hold up that line of people who haven't watched in a while.
Well, I'll make sure to compliment you on your great play-by-play this game.
Thank you, Papa. That's what I need. Keeps me going.
Wow, you got a long break after this. This could be you cold turkey for the better part of 2 weeks.
I'm going to be rusty, you know.
Isn't he going to Australia?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a bit weird that you talk about being a color caster, but okay.
Maybe that's my future.
It's true.
A man can dream.
I think you got the quick shot thing going on of having the good game knowledge. You're a good player.
I do the stats from time to time.
You've been close to Diamond.
The Valda stats.
That's no one's
ever going to say that ever again. I'm sorry.
It's got too many S's in it.
Ooh, nice mark pickup there by Score. He's not doing the Haru thing of being on 1 mark for the entire game.
I think that's his 2nd mark, if you guys at home were watching.
Poor Haru, man.
Haru, yeah. He
had such a good early game, and we were just complimenting him so much. And then he just face-planted one time too many against a Zoe.
Got to be careful against Syndra. Syndra also pretty good at turning and killing you. But Lamb's Respite probably going to be up soon, so no big deal there. Close, quiet early game in this particular one. Smeb is able to keep the Singed very honest. It's not quite the ultra-hard counter. I think of Kale. That was the big one in the past for the Singed. Tom Kent's top actually really strong against Singed also. You're Sunfire Cape, so you have a bit of pushing, and then you just kind of kill him when he tries to run past you.
Yeah.
Glacial Augment. Try it at home, guys. I'm trying to deal with that Singed.
It turns out that devouring someone and putting them in the place that you want them is pretty good against a guy who's trying to run away.
You go Phase Rush also and put him under the turret for the amusing reduction of self-slow.
I was telling you earlier, I accidentally put my runes on Alistair to have Phase Rush.
Ooh.
It was not a good game. I fed pretty hard early against the Thresh, which I picked the Alistair into. Makes sense. But you need the Aftershock, it turns out, if you're going to get hooked before level 6 and you want to survive. And I did not have it. So even though I was fast, I wasn't surviving at all.
That is a pretty cool solo queue story.
Would not recommend, guys.
All right, Phase Rush, Alistair, put that one in the dumpster.
Yeah.
I had a jungle Alistair run earlier this season. Not bad. I wouldn't necessarily say go out of your way to play it, but not bad. Consider. I remember the good old days of myself and watching people like Snoopy going for those turret dives at level 2 and wanted to recreate them.
Yeah.
It turns out if everyone's level 2, Alistair's pretty strong.
He definitely has one of the strongest level 2s in the game.
Yondu has been able to kind of run around the Kindred to pretty good advantage. He's jungling topside where he's getting plenty of implied vision from the Singed. This is what happens when you're proxying a Singed. Enemy tries to get something, and it's usually just the Insanity Potion, but try and get whatever you can get. And he's going to go for the aggressive proxy. Will he go full Maknoon and try to proxy in the base? That is the advanced technique.
That is... Do not try that at home, guys.
Maknoon did it, so
yeah.
I'm ready to see it. He got the double wave in the base at about 11 minutes in that famous game. Champions Winter 2012, 2013, I believe.
Yeah. It helps that they have double ward in the red side jungle. And
oh, he could have gone to base. He didn't. Feels bad.
The Trundle also stole the red and spotted the fact that score was nowhere near, so he had a lot of room to do that kind of thing.
I just love the mini-map when Singe is in the game, because we get moments like this where it's like, huh.
This is a thing that we have in League of Legends. This happens. Singe just decided he didn't want to deal with Vladimir in the lane anymore, and he's like, well, I'll just proxy.
Yep, and that's just Singe things, right? That's how you don't lose hard lanes by 50 CS. You proxy, and either the enemy jungler or the Galio ultimate is blown, and maybe you get the Singe. His flash is still up. You're not that guaranteed to pick up the kill. And sometimes, and more often than not, the jungler in the mid laner says, I have better things to do with my time than maybe kill a Singe.
It also helps that Syndra pushes very hard, so it's like, well, Galio has some good pushing, but it's not super great. And he's going to be stuck in the mid lane, clearing out those creeps all the while here.
In the late game, I actually think this game favors KT again, as Score had to wait, couldn't even use his Q during that. He's going to try and battle, and we're seeing Shen ultimate.
I mean, trying to come in here, gets the stun, and there's the Galio, going to get the knock up here onto ADD. It is sticking down, but it's not enough. Lamster Spike comes in, saves Score's life, but here's Rakan. First blood, Max has shown up. There's the double kill. The MVP fans are going wild in the studio right now. And Smebit looks like he has been able to get out of here by forcing that stopwatch out of Singed, but going a little bit too deep there was KT, and MVP they will secure.
Max, famous for the quadra kill on the Scion support, gets a double on Rakan. Not ideal kill distribution, but nice cleanup from MVP. KT get too annoyed by the early game and the proxy. Score with another flash over the wall. They could have given this one up. They were feeling Rambo. But look at how many turret shots and how much damage is blown. They have to use the Lamb's Respite to stop the Syndra ultimate from just killing him straight up. KT Rolster take 2 kills on the back end.
It was a good flash there by Smeb, actually. If he didn't flash that, he would have died to the Syndra. And he was able to get on top of the Singed, who was forced to stopwatch, who would have also killed him.
Maybe we misread the champions, but the script seems to slowly be coming together, Valdez.
Yeah, you know. KT just doing KT things. It's very hard for them to have 2 clean games in a row. Unless they're playing against BBQ, I guess.
I would argue they're at 3 at the moment. They played 2 good games against Griffin and a good game 1, so this is the sort of streak that's unprecedented for KT Rolster.
Yeah. It's definitely a new feel.
Still have, I think, the advantage in the late game. I think the Xayah being able to lift off through the Syndra ultimate is a really big thing, and A Singe trying to get on a Xayah is just the worst ever, so that won't happen.
Yeah, I mean, Xayah definitely is slowly gaining more and more priority. And her win rate, we don't actually get to see it too often because generally when it comes up, we highlight the player and their ridiculous stats on the Xayah instead of the Xayah stats. But, I mean, the Xayah stats in that fight were pretty funny. But, okay, gonna get on top of ADD. Nice little kill there. Bit of a mistake. Nice gank by Score. But to get back to my point, Xayah was 7-1 before today. Or, yeah, before yesterday, actually. Then went to 9-1. And now today, actually, another game won. Earlier in the first series by aiming, won a game on the Xayah. And so now she's at 10-1 in LCK. And was on the ban list as well for a little bit there. So Xayah just overall has been very strong here.
Score failed at killing the Rift Tower, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Oh, dear. Well, that happened.
Just old man things.
I'll be fine. Oh.
Score doesn't strike me as the, you know, the old man that's the wise old man that knows all about the in-depth stuff like Ambition does. He's kind of like...
But what you don't appreciate, Valdez, is remember...
Thank you for interrupting me.
He used
Score
to be
fans
an
would have
AD
gotten
carry.
angry.
So you would think he's actually like, I remember back in my day, AD carry, Graves, you know, Kindred, I'll be fine. And now he's remembering that his day was a while ago.
Yeah.
His mechanics are not the same as the Immortal Score. And it's one of those times where you just remember that you can't run that mile as quickly as you remember. You can't lift the same as you could when you were a young man.
Your fingers don't move as fast. Turns out Khan was right. Maybe there is something wrong with the other people's fingers.
He locks in Graves. He's like, wait, this isn't how Graves plays. What's this AoE thing?
Man, Graves in the bot lane. Good times.
That auto attack animation, good times.
Uh-huh.
Bad times for ADD, but he doesn't have flash. So here comes the yakety sax music.
This is the most annoying thing. Look at Score. He's just going back and forth, and so is ADD. The unfortunate thing is that Smeb actually does a decent amount of damage. Oh, the Q misses. The drumstick's not going to land. UCal still on the chase, and they seem to have given up. ADD going to just go to the base now.
Is he going to proxy some minions?
I think he should definitely get himself executed.
Not yet. He can get the minion wave first.
Are you serious?
No, don't go that way.
He's going to give the kill to Score. What are you doing, mate?
You start proxying the minion wave, then you die to the turret. He went the wrong way, Valdez.
He went the wrong way. He could have proxied it into the base.
You had one job, ADD.
Sins for a while there was like ban status. They didn't want to let ADD play it, but after today, I can understand why he has fallen off of the ban pick. Why we don't see it played too often. He's doing his job at being annoying. So that is something going well for ADD.
And Smeb's going to take the turret. Through all of this, AD's teleport is up, but no point to use it on the very low health turret.
My solo queue Sims that's 0-4 would definitely have TP'd into that turret. Let me tell you.
He's at home. He's at home doing the Linderong with the big thumbs up now.
Yeah.
So that's what I would have done. Well, the turret damage here is actually more than you might have expected. But that's because Galio's kind of been walking around. Not as many Heroes entrance plays, only the single one for UCal, but over time, Syndra shoves faster like you mentioned, and then is able to get those auto attacks in from range. Galio's getting his items. Smeb's gone for the could you please stop running away build and gone for Twin Shadows in this game.
Yeah.
Don't see Twin Shadows rush on the Vladimir too often.
No. He's very unhappy with Sins right now. I remember we were talking about the Syndra pick into the Galio, but after that first fight we have, the Syndra pick into the Kindred is also curious. You try to ult someone and Score's just like, LOL, I'm going to Lamb's Respite and you're not going to kill anyone on my team.
They did pick Swain Syndra. That was curious. Mid lane.
Def taking a little bit of damage, but he is on the Xayah here. ADD trying to get close to Score on the Kindred, but he just dashes away. Just trying to group up as 5, actually, and push into the mid lane and actually get it. But the flash on in, the counter engager trying to get matched. They're going to catch ADD. Vada's going to get low, and they do kill them. But here is Smith coming into the back line. There's that damage. He's going to get 1. Ian also going to get low here. Looks like Pilot on the run. Smith getting so low is able to get into the Lamb's Respite just barely. The heal comes off, and Yondu is going to get in there and get the kill for Ian. Here comes Deft trying to get Ian on the back, but Yukal comes from behind. Where'd he come from? He was chasing Pilot, comes in the left side. And once that Q gets off, there will be another kill over to Smeb. 4 members go down on the side of MVP. And a nice little fight there for KT.
Smeb and flank initiations. Has there ever been a match made in heaven better than those two? Even on the Vladimir, making it work. Watch the replay. We got something to laugh at Score about at the end here that you missed. We're going to watch the replay. Turret's low, so you know someone's going to try something. Smarter with the taunt flash into the Galio ultimate. That means that Singe can do nothing. He's out of the fight instantly. So's the Shen, but here comes Smeb. Flash W already early buffer to Z. And as it goes on, they decide to go in further. Score has to tank the turret. Amusingly, puts down the Lamb's Spike for the team. And then at the end here, do watch, he dies to the turret shot. He flashes too late and dies. Of course, old man mechanics. However, good mechanics on Deft. Yukal 17, so he's feeling frisky. Under the turret, very, very virile is that dive from Yukal, and Smeb cleans it up.
I just love that Score's having, like, MVP performance in game 1.
MVP.
I love the thought as here comes MVP. They're going to get the kill onto the Shen. Yukal trying to recreate that taunt. Not going to happen. Ian, though, just disappearing. Deft getting too low. And it looks like maybe perhaps KT have bit off a little more than they can chew. But look at Score. Pilot is popping off, but Score is able to get the follow-up kill. Max getting low. One more dash will finish off that Recon. But the Singe still very tanky. One more shot is going to do it. A triple kill over to the Kindred. Score. Again, we're making so much fun of this guy, but he's having the series of his life.
He's thinking of the past. He's remembering those 80 carry mechanics. Give him enough time. He's going to master it. Think of Meteos back in the day on Lee Sin. Yeah. He's getting there, this Score, man. He's going to get the mid lane turret as well.
Oh, boy. The old man laughs in the end as he is just cleaning up the kills. 5-2 and 5. He's making the Kindred look really, really strong. One of these guys in the LCK that says, hey, this is a big-time pick.
Oh, Score, please never go away. We love you very much. So we're watching the replay of this fight. This is a lot closer for MVP, as this is a great engage by Max, who's been the star of the show for MVP. They get good stuns. Deft is out of the fight pretty early in terms of impact. And this time ADD says, thank you very much. I'll take a kill on you. So they've already lost a lot of their team. Smeb gets into the back line, but doesn't have anyone following him, barring Score. And Score ends up in, a delayed 1v4. He takes out 1, ends up 1v3. He takes down 2. He doesn't get the turret, but he's able to load on some gold.
These kinds of fights are where I love to watch KT the most. We talk about how they're the best mechanically skilled players. Some of the best as a team of 5, perhaps, here in the LCK. When you compare them, it's just teamwork, other stuff gets in the way. They love to get excited and get overconfident, but man, when you see these guys get into a weird, wonky team fight, they just love to outplay their opponents, and it's easy pickings up against MVP here.
When you have 5 guys that can outplay, even Score, like you can see, has plenty of shining moments. When you have 5 people like that, usually at least one person's going to pop off in the fight, and when more than one are popping off, you're definitely winning the fight. So KT are able to get over the line. It's still even. In many ways, MVP's up in gold. It's something that people might actually not appreciate, but given where the game's at, they're ahead in gold at this particular spot. It's not a lot. A lot of that is around the turrets they've been able to take out. Smeb going to answer the gold lead with a turret here. Just need to find a bit more layering of their advantages, because if Vlad and Kindred combine, that should be pretty good news for the side of KT.
They have a terrifying late game composition. They do. The one thing that's going well for MVP is that Pilot, once again, is doing massive amount of damage. He's hit the 2-item power spike, I suppose you can call it, on the Lucian, the Black Cleaver, and the Blade of the Rune King. Hasn't even completed his boots, but he's beating Deft and Farm, and he's doing a lot of damage. Yondu is going to get caught. Unfortunately, he is so close to his flash. I don't think he quite has it yet, and it looks like they are going to take him out before he can flash the wall or get out of there.
Smeb is really fast. He's gone movement speed Vladimir. Here he comes.
Here we go. Looking for it to stand united, but Smeb, oh boy, he's getting excited, getting a little bit too deep in there before he can do anything at all. And another nice engage by Max.
A bit of an oopsie from Smeb that time. Dies with his flash up and was not able to use the Sanguine pull through it. We're getting real KT versus MVP as this game goes on, and seeing old KT who would get big gold leads and then go for the epic throw. Not quite the epic throw territory just yet. They lock down Yondu, and taking out the smite post 20 minutes is always something to note.
His flash is like 10 seconds away from getting up. Mata commits to the flash. They get him right before it. And we're going to just see Smeb coming in here.
Coming in hot. He's got the movement speed. He knows he's going to get there. But unfortunately for him, he thinks he's tankier than he is. Very nice chain from Max, who's been easily the MVP for his team in this game. The ultimate a little bit too late, but of course that was not really something you could criticize Score for. And MVP disengage again, still with that slender gold lead.
It's definitely, as you mentioned, it is KT versus MVP. This is a great way to send off LCK into the Rift Rivals break, as we won't come back here for SPO TV for 13 days, but at OGN, we will be back next Wednesday.
Compare this, and I'm talking about not just the graph, but how many things have happened to the previous games. This lets you know it's a fiesta because the icons have to be so small to fill in all the things that have died. There's been 7 scuttles, 6 turrets, and 20 kills in 23 minutes.
I mean, we've had games where we've had 1 kill per 10 minutes. This is almost 1 kill per 1 minute. It is the classic KT versus MVP, and I know that a lot of people that are watching love this kind of play. TP's going to come in as Ian died somewhere. Didn't quite get to see that. UCal is going to get on top of Yondu. He has his flash this time, doesn't use it very well. Is going to be able to pillar the Xayah, but he's not getting out of this one at all. Going to end up giving everyone an assist. Everybody gets a piece of the pie. And as I said, Ian just died somewhere. Didn't even get to see him.
The play-by-play of that was fantastic, Bonus. Really nicely done. I promise to compliment you. As we zoom in on the Baron, down to 6,000.
ADD's getting in there. You know that MVP's going to fight. See you later, Smeb. Mata getting pretty low here, too. Pilot has so much room in the back line. The Baron didn't even die. They didn't even kill it. And UCal dies in the back line. The Poison and the Baron.
The fans on both sides are hooting and hollering every team fight as another dumb play happens. Smeb has decided that Sungwon Pull's not an ability.
Yeah. They've also decided that 1 kill per 1 minute is not enough. They're going to go above and beyond. Speaking of which, Ian died.
This is how he died earlier. He face-checked good old Score. And you know what? He died real fast.
Oh, boy. Yondu tries to flash. He's just giving UCal the alley-oop. Saying, UCal, we need to make you look even better. Chovy's been stealing a little bit of the rookie spotlight, so here you go.
Guys, remember in the post-game thread to compliment everything about Score's game on the Kindred, his mastery of every mechanic, never a mistake. To once again separate the people that watch KT and the people that hear about KT.
Smeb's just like, nah, you know.
My favorite part is UCal, though.
Yeah.
Deft flashes out of the pit, so Deft doesn't take aggro. He was the closest to Baron, so instead UCal dies.
He's like following the poison trail too. He's like, please, take me with you.
Is this the path to victory? No, it's not. Well, at least we're all having fun here. I think everyone has found something to be enjoyed in this game. Well,
Score is such a beast, man.
No mistakes.
What a
flawless
smooth,
execution.
Clean player.
He's such a smooth mover, you know. He never misuses any of his cooldowns or abilities. As in the last fight, of course Score popped off.
Of course, Pilot is, for the 5th fight in a row, the highest damage on the Rift, and it just doesn't matter. Poor guy.
Video games. It can be fun, you know. Sometimes we're focused on the deadly serious competition, thinking back to the Telecom War. And sometimes it's KT MVP, and we're focused on the deadly serious fiesta.
This has seriously been a fiesta, so I'm glad you put it that way. And, I mean, these teams, it feels like macro has gone out the window. There's no split pushing. Only now has the Singed gone down to the bottom side.
Drakes agree with us, though. There's 3 Infernals to make them kill each other better.
Everybody is doing a whole hell of a lot more damage. Finally, they decide, hey, let's split push.
There's no Cuba to kill down here. Smeb's going to join in. He's got the movement speed build. Does a lot of damage, though.
There's a control ward on the Baron, but I swear that MVP is just saying, hey, let's start it, let's do it.
It would be a full MVP KT if we saw a 50-50 Baron. To their credit, MVP have done very few of those in the past few months. But if there's ever a time for a comeback, the famous matchup between KT and MVP is that. I'm kind of reminded of when NALCS did Rivalry Week a couple of weeks ago, and it was Big versus Quan as the first rivalry they built up. We've never built up KT versus MVP, but this is quintessential KT versus MVP. Big matchup.
Someone finally picked up a control ward. If you look in their inventory, that's the only person who had one control ward. Must have been Max. Nobody else on the side of MVP buys control wards. Of course, they need to buy damaging items.
I would definitely agree with Pilot. I think he's spared from, he's earned the right not to buy control wards. As KT could start the Baron and turn off it, they have flashback off Mata, and Taunt Flash has been their big initiation. Smeb from a flank, always a good way to go also. No one's died in like 3 minutes. What's going on here?
I know. This game is really slowed down. Oh, he missed the cannon. Why, Ian? Why?
The waves are in kind of very even position, so no team is able to walk to the Baron any freer. And KT also didn't have the most control wards, so they don't have the most control over this area. Not one on the pit is a bit of a problem.
Look at Score. He wants to be the assassin. He wants to come in here and Lamb's Respite only himself.
He thought about his options. Won't be taking it. KT's Baron speed is decent, because Score will do a lot of damage to the Baron. Hasn't gone Blade or anything like that. It's Warrior into Rapid Fire Cannon has been, so far, it's pretty standard build. We don't really understand it, but seems to be the choice of the Korean players.
Trying to bait them in here.
It's so hard. They have Pillar to check, so
yeah,
it's actually very tricky to pull something off.
But the flank.
It's quintessential Smeb. Are you ready?
Oh, the four-man taunt. There it is. Yondu and everybody getting so low. Lamb's Respite going to keep everybody alive. Smeb in the back line, but Pilot able to take down Shen. But that's going to be all they can take out here, really, as they trade it back for a much more valuable ADD. But it was only a 1-for-1. That's all they were able to get.
But it was a 5-for-2 in terms of flashes. 5-for-3, I should say. So they're able to get every enemy flash for the next time. Action has subsided for a while. Yukal says, I've done this before. He's on a ward, and still 4 people decide they really like his look, the cut of his jib, and want to get taunted by him. Bit of a charm, if you ask me. Smeb gets in the back line. It's not quite the Ken and Wombo we're used to, but a nice move forward for KT.
That time in the replay, I was taking a look at Pilot, and even though he got flash taunted by Mata, and he wasn't in the best position, he had the flanking Vladimir right behind him, he is doing some serious damage. He basically took out the Shen from half health with just a couple of hits.
Also during the replay, I noticed that it was a KT ward. My bad. Yeah. I fell into the fiesta as well. I got excited. Sorry, guys. It was me.
Papa.
I felt pretty excited. So, Score. How are we feeling about this Baron? Clearly for now, not that good. Damage numbers big on every side, except the Trundle. There's still so much damage on KT, but they're kind of struggling at not having the Camille to link here.
Yeah.
But when it comes to these plays, maybe the Baron damage is what's best directed by KT.
It's actually really good timing here by KT. They have total vision. They just want a big fight. Nobody has the flashes. Trundle just went back into the base. No one's going to check. And that's going to be the free Baron going over to KT. Just really good timing out of them. I think they saw a bunch of people back, and they said, hey, we can do this fast enough.
First objective that was taken without a fight. So you have to say, in a game that's been all about the man moding, making an objective like that for free was nicely executed by KT. MVP have control over the Drake, but I'm sure KT won't feel the need to invade onto this one. It's going to be a Cloud Drake for them. A full disengage from MVP was punished by KT, probably the most macro move of the game. There will be an Elder spawning a little bit after 35 minutes. Well, let's see if KT can pull off the dive. Remember that flashes were all blown at the same time. They only have one timer, and it should read 2 minutes 30 till the next flash comes available.
You got a lot of time here. KT going to be looking for some kind of push. Already have 2 members down on the bottom side. It looks like Score is trying to catch maybe the Shen unawares, but he's on a ward, so they ping him out.
Smeb pushing up has a lot of damage, as we've noted, and a lot of movement speed, so he should be able to get to whichever fight emerges. Pilot playing the lone hand, it feels like a little bit. Him and Max have been the stars on the side of MVP. Black Cleaver getting a lot of value, just trying to mow down Yukal on the front line. Easiest person for him to get on access to. KT push up. They do have more range champions than we usually see in this meta, with 3 on their side, because they have the Kindred. Can also partake in a side lane. Surprised that Mata isn't actually taxiing the minion wave in mid and pushing it forward, because he can just join at any moment with the Stand United. MP just trying to play patient, and KT controlling space, waiting for all their waves to crash.
Yeah. Instead of Mata going in the lane, he's just going to hang around in the jungle, wait for Smeb to do the pushing. And Score coming in here, but a nice defense so far from MVP. 3 people in the exact right position. They were able to identify which lane was being pushed here. Ian, of course, on the Syndra. Be able to just stun, push everything back, throw them away from the turret, so you can always deal with that. Meanwhile, on the top side, Yukal getting a bit frisky here with ADD.
He has no magic resist, so he takes a lot of damage from ADD, and I'm not sure about this lane assignment by KT. Remember, they've had the Baron for now, what, almost 3 minutes, and they've taken no turrets. They're going to get the easiest objective possible in the inner and the top side. They haven't really found a way to turn this Baron into anything other than immediate gold. Elder, of course, will be spawning before too long. Maybe that's where they'll put up a big fight. But for now, KT do appear frustrated despite having those 3 range champions.
They have the range champions. I think the Syndra is really good at, dealing with only 1 person in the lane. But had they just gone with the 4-1, try to catch someone, maybe go for a bit of a dive. They can get on top of anyone. But then again, it's hard when you got Ian. He's got the Banshee Veil. They finally group up in the mid lane and find someone. Yukal in a bit of trouble here.
Trying to kill him on the side. He has to flash away.
Yeah, MVP can get a little bit out of position, but they are able to rotate in here. And Max now from the bottom side looking for a pick. Not going to find it. And at the end of the day, looks like only 2 turrets were taken there by KT.
Certainly no Baron buff power play, but maybe KT are just trusting in their team fight. When the enemy comes to them, they have a comp where if they're thinking, okay, the only way we can look at how small the font and the icons have to be to show all the things that happen this game. Sadly, around 26 minutes, we slowed down a little bit. But only issue for KT's comp is if you come to them and Cannon, sorry, I say Cannon, but Smeb gets into the backline as Vladimir. Flanks are so much easier when the enemy's coming to you. In the base, almost impossible to do. Because of that, game is stalled out a little bit, and I guess it's going to be another big objective fight to close the game one way or the other.
I mean, they had a decent amount of poke. Not the best siege in the world on the side of KT, but they definitely could have threatened it with the ranged champions that they had. Deciding to take it as slow as possible. Wait 2 minutes for the Elder Drake to come up. Maybe after seeing that as MVP, you just say, well, maybe we don't come in here. Maybe we try to catch someone. The Flash Pillar, they really want Yukal here. They know he doesn't have his Flash, but the TPs are coming in. Double TP now, but Score getting low. The Lambs for Spike getting into position just on time, but the flag forward, and he gets the flip over. There it is. He's going to pop his GA. No Sun going to be able to come in here. Hero's entrance to save Score, and Smeb is not going to hit much of anything.
Got a couple, but obviously was never going to be turned into a kill. So everyone gets very excited at the same time. I know that word's a bit on the nose, but that's exactly what happened. They understood as MVP that it takes time for everyone to join, and just putting the Trundle ultimate onto Yukal makes him very, very squishy, not able to DPS him down. We're going to watch the replay. This is just MVP saying it's 3v1. We should be able to take him out. They get very, very close, but Zonia's is there to reset aggro. Score gets culled and has to use the Lamb's Respite super early. Get the GA out of them, but no one truly goes down through all of this.
Yeah, they know they had gotten the flash out of Yukal earlier. They were thinking maybe, just maybe, we can get a pick here onto a Galio. Not something you can see very commonly happening in League of Legends, but they tried for it.
Got some long cooldowns that are going to be on cooldown still when the Elder Dragon starts. Vlad will be just about ultimate back up. We will not have Hero's Entrance, or most likely to stand united. But you have to be careful with how they face check. They have the pillar though, and it's actually very difficult to have too much go wrong. Pillar doesn't reveal like it used to, but it still gives a lot of value when it comes to these areas.
Also, the Sins always wants to run into the enemy, and he's very willing to do just that.
Vladimir was on the top side. Here's the TP.
Oh, that's Yukal gonna get into the back line. A two-man stun, but nobody is able to follow up. Finally, the Zonius comes in. Score on the front line, trying to poke him down. ADD gets low, but look at all the low members on the side of KT. That Sin's damage really ticking, as well as Lucian having a lot of room to do that damage in the front line means that KT, they try again. Looking for ADD this time, though. Looks like Score is going to do another great thing in this match and gets another kill by finding him there in the river.
Nice assassination from Score, starting to stack up again and again. Will we see a trade? MVP trying to force KT to come to them. We'll see a trade of objectives instead. Seems like KT want to contest the Baron.
Well, Smeb is going to come in here. He does have this Hemo Plague.
They're so
hesitating,
slow, KT.
though. He's hesitating. It looks like they want to take the fight instead of just go straight for the Baron. Trying to cut them off here below.
Control Ward spots them.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they just have to give it away. That does mean that they will be able to get this Elder Drake, especially with this wave up on the top side that Pilot does have to clear. But a trade nonetheless. An MVP with that Baron should be able to at least push the waves away from their base and begin to stalemate this game a lot longer.
About a 30-second length of buff advantage for MVP as well. Gonna watch the replay of how this all happened. They're looking for a flank, but consider what was used in the last fight. Remember that Vladimir doesn't have flash for this fight. No one can join Galio on the front line, and short of Zonia's, he would just straight up die. KT trying to turn what should be comfortable teamfight wins has actually proved really difficult for them again and again. Score parts the longest way around and predicts where Singe will go, so good move by Score. Able to catch ADD, but they end up getting a kill and trading it for a Baron and eventually an Elder Drake.
And look at what happens here. MVP, they have a wave pushing in mid lane. A pretty big one at that. Double cannon minion going to be pushing in. MVP, they still have to be careful. KT with a large number of forced engagement tactics that they can make work here. As Yukal has his flash back, Smeb almost has it back, and MVP, they're just going to push the one turret and take it very slowly, very carefully from here.
MVP comes at KT though. Maybe we can see real value out of Hero's Entrance. Otherwise, Vlad in Hemo Plague into a Hero's Entrance while Ensanguine pulls. The only way you see it, Max is walking up, and that's going to take this inhibitor turret. First inhibitor turret of the game goes the way of MVP.
Yeah, I was actually totally incorrect. They were just waiting for the next wave, and they want to go for it big time. The blast on in with the taunt and a huge Hemo Plague onto the two guys in front. ADD also going to get it extremely low, but look at that. Actually, Yukal goes down as Galio gets a little bit too close. Nicely done. The follow-up damage from the Singed, as well as Ian to help out there.
And that's the thing. Remember the change that came through for Sindra. Her Q now, when you hit the max level, does extra damage rather than having more onto the Rift like it was before. So just that bit of damage and then just a little bit of follow-up damage from the Poison Trail actually picks up the kill onto the Galio. Gonna watch the replay. Again, we see a big fight, but Max is the one with decisive engage. Score. No joke, no prank. Pulls off a really nice Q. That wasn't a flash away. He sidesteps a big engage. Sick mechanics from Score that time. No irony about it. just a bit of an overkill onto the Galio. And that means that MVP do take an inhibitor turret. Crucially, though, they don't kill the inhibitor.
We're in a very wonky spot. We were having so much fun in this game early on because it was yakety sacks all over the rift, so many kills, top lane, mid lane, just all over the place was the game, and then all of a sudden it slowed down and became very competitive in game number 2. This is not what I was expecting. Damage numbers here, kind of funny.
0 damage, Shen, 52 damage, support. Maybe support is working as intended, who knew? Problem here for KT is even though Score had the nice sidestep, getting damage out of the Kindred is not a Score exclusive problem. We've seen a couple of Kindreds fail in the later phase of the game. Has the Guardian Angel this time, so maybe we'll walk up a little further. To me, I think KT is just desperate for the flank that Smeb usually provides. Doesn't have Rylai's on. The Vladimir is very much about needing someone to keep people in place, and I just don't think that's going to be the Galio. So far, MVP have been excellent at disengaging the hero's entrance.
I mean, they had the ability, the opportunity to pick up the Camille instead of the Kindred. Kindred looking pretty good, you know, 9-2-8, but in terms of the team fights and locking people down, as you're talking about, it's not quite the same as Camille.
I think he has 13 marks. That's what I'm reading on our screen. Can be hard to do. You see 13 as well?
That's a big old 13 for
That is a crap load of marks. Speaking of Kindred.
Oh, trying to get behind, but Score getting too low. The Lamb's Respite comes down just in time. They're still going to engage onto him. He has the shield, and here's Smith from behind, trying to get onto Pilot this time around. But look at this Pilot, looking to turn it around. He has the help of his team. ADD has gone down, though. They trade for top laners in the end. A CP coming in here from UCal behind. He really wants to catch him. Look at the mini-map. The Galio from behind wants to get on top of this team.
UCal has no flash, but he does have the ability to cut them. Gonna have to be Eternia, but Pilot's almost full health.
Look at that lifesteal coming in. They get the stun onto the Galio. Score walking through. He has the GA. The stopwatch on a max, but they take out Pilot. That's the big kill they wanted, and there it is. KT Deft is able to pick up 2 more kills, and they successfully corral KT MVP into that hole in the side of the rift, and that was finally the team fight they were looking for.
I mean, it's hard to call it a team fight. It was so extended. Great job keeping up with it. They had to flank them again and again. With no flash, UCal couldn't actually force. The teleport looked comical, but it removed options from the side of MVP when it came to disengaging. Eventually, they had to come to the day of retribution. That was the Xayah coming through with all the damage. Finally, first inhibitor turret at 45 minutes for KT.
It's been a doozy of a game. We've come a long way. And this isn't going to be the game ender either. They don't have Baron, the death timers. It took them too long for them to get over to that inhibitor. So just the inhibitor and back is going to be the name of the game here for KT. They need to prepare for the Baron that's coming up in 45 seconds.
I have to wonder at this point what the most marks in professional play is. At 14 marks of the Kindred. It's a huge number. We see games end around 6 usually. Gonna watch the replay. Score, honestly, initiates his fight with his face. He kind of has to because previously none of them have been working. He's got GA, Lamb's Respite, Shen ultimate, and Galio ultimate.
Yeah.
And that's about the only way they get people out of position. Smeb thinks, all right, I've got on top of Pilot. He's below half health, but more Mount Mortius means they can't actually take him down. The teleport here is smart because only the way you can disengage as MVP is to go up and go towards the terrain of KT. Eventually, UCal is going to be able to close the gap. We're watching the picture-in-picture also of where KT Rolster is in the map, but this is where the action finally happened. UCal couldn't close the gap, but again it's Score walking forward and making this happen.
He engages with his face. The rest of them had to just dodge the Galio, but it was a great follow-up engage from UCal and Mata to make sure that they can secure the kills for Deft, who's finally beginning to get some on the scoreboard. 3-1-9.
And you know what Score's done this game on the Kindred? He's problem-solved KT out of a lot of problems. How do we actually stick and engage? How do we actually stick a gold lead and win a team fight? Got to give Score a lot of credit for creative ways to actually move the game forward, because it's been in a stall still, a big lull, for about 20 minutes.
This whole game has been a gigantic lull.
In many different ways.
If you look at it in a certain light, for sure. Smeb with no TP goes down to the bottom lane, says, I'm going to clear this out, but oh wait, MVP knows that. going to come in here and clear out vision. They're not going to start any Baron. Smeb is pretty fast. And guys, we're just getting the hold the thought. They get the engage here. On to score, but the follow-up match getting so low. Teemo playing onto a couple in the front line. Score having so much room, as well as Deft over the wall, is able to just get the perfect positioning. Nicely fought there by KT. They get one kill, and now they're pushing.
Today was the day you almost killed Score again and again for the side of MVP. And with the inhibitor down, do they try to end 5v4?
Looks like no. I was about to say yes, but KT, they stumped me once again. They're going for the Baron. I think this is a much safer play. It's another mark to Kindred as well.
With 3 ranged auto attackers, there was always the chance that Vladimir could zone and they could end the game. They make the safe choice. They go for the Baron. This one's not going to be free. MVP's here.
Oh, look at this. Smeb trying to get on them in the back line. The Smite is going to come through. They can't quite engage onto MVP. Def going to dodge the Unleashed Power by hopping into the Peddler Storm. The Baron, once again, picked up here by KT. And guys, before I got the word, this is the longest game we've had here in the LCK Summer Split. 46 minutes, 42 seconds was the previous record. We have surpassed it.
Not sure about the Gathering Storms here. If the producer is listening, wouldn't mind seeing them on the screen. If there are any in the game, I guess Pilot, the most likely to be picking up one, but Xayah as well. That means we're seeing another Elder. This would be a second Elder, remember. That would be the huge buff.
Looks like into the steal, Ian! Oh, boy!
The MVP crowd are just deafening. Score doesn't pick it up. Remember, in the late game, you often do more damage as a Syndra than you do with Smite. Steals it over the wall. That's why I was worried about the Baron. It was a less safe Baron than you realized.
It really was. If you just combo your skills at the correct time, you will do more damage than the Smite. And there you go. I mean, that is just unbelievable. MVP now, they net themselves an Elder Drake, and this is turning into one of the most entertaining games we've seen.
And they stopped a double stack Elder Dragon as well. Now it's 1-1 with the Elder Dragons in this game. That would have been 3 auto attackers.
Yeah.
Or 2 auto attackers with the big buff. It would have been doubling of the plus 16% AD and AP. That might have been lights out when you think of how many times a Kindred and Xayah would proc the true damage.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen. And now you kind of have to wait 1 minute 35 because you really don't want to fight against the Elder Drake on the side of MVP.
Especially because MVP, KT thought that MVP was going to commit to the push, so they committed to, it looks like double TP out of Smeb and Ucal, and both were canceled.
Watch the damage range here. Let's see how much there is to say. It's at 442.
That's pretty low.
That is pretty low. That is a lot higher than you can burst as a Syndra, and of course the Smite as well. A lot of things happening there, so I guess if you want to wag your finger, it's hard to say too much about it. KT pushed up, and they'd much prefer the scenario of outnumbering, because then they don't have to worry about all the true damage.
Gigantic wave in the bottom side. You can see the burn damage coming in. Makes it a lot easier to clean up these Baron minions. But they will at least get 1 turret. But at this point in the game, guys, we're 50 minutes in. Everybody's at 6 items, basically, outside of the supports. So the extra damage from the turret isn't going to be much. It's the bigger importance will come from, I suppose, the position you can gain by not having this turret here. KT, with that, they will continue to push in the bottom side.
Actually, really little threat onto Pilot because there's a Locket. He has so much lifesteal and magic resist. Smeb's getting called almost to death.
That pillar comes down and he eats so much more damage than he realized.
Consider the best case scenario of Vlad, Hemo, Plague, 1 rotation, and other damage coming onto Pilot. He probably doesn't die because he has Locket, he has magic resist, he has the ability to lifesteal afterwards. So the threat onto Pilot can solo carry a 1-team fight for the side of MVP, and the similar things are true from KT, except Deft has to watch Max at every moment. Max's flashes up in just a couple of seconds. Somehow this game and this night might be extending. We are no closer to knowing if KT will win game 2 or not.
It's ultra close. You guys can see the damage numbers.
This game.
Teamwork for KT, I suppose. 3 members that are up there towards 30, 31,000 damage. Pilot.
Wait, that was a lot of extra damage dilution there.
The numbers changing as we talk about them. Pilot is going to be #1, as he has been for the majority of the game, and pretty much any time the damage graphs comes up.
We like to massage the numbers to make them look good for you guys at home. So just doing you a favor. Thank us later. Mata on split push duty. He's not 6 items. He doesn't have a
This is not the top lane Chen that you're used to. He doesn't really kill minions at 51, now 52 minutes into the game. You know, you were talking about Gathering Storm. It's actually really important now that we've crossed 50 minutes.
It might be 0, you know. Producer, if you're listening, we'd love to know about the Gathering Storm situation, because that's some fat stacks of AD and AP.
You think about the Vlad, he probably took it.
Focusing on
outside of the, you know, the scorch and the water walking.
The saddest stats possible for good old Mata.
Hey, you know, he's farming up. He's trying to get his next item.
He's farming, but he farms way faster when he has a friend. And that kind of loses the whole point of the split push. There is sorcery on Deft and Pilot, so let's assume they have it.
Yeah.
It is phase rush, but you could understand Scorch for laning phase against Singe, so I'm not sure about the Vladimir on that one. I'm going to guess Pilot and Deft, and we can find out later if we were right. I realized the overlay was there earlier. If you're on YouTube, you might be able to go back and do it as you just laugh at how fast the red Brambleback
like
dies.
2-shot. Pilot does a lot of damage. In that last fight where Smeb thought he could 1v1 him, he was dreadfully wrong. Now, Pilot can just dunk him at this point in time. I don't care how fed you're...
Getting the update on Gathering Storm, both AD carries are the only people that pick them. So I guess Smeb did need the Scorch for laning phase. Didn't want to be proxied as much.
Yeah.
So that means they got a lot of AD. Sadly not Deft. So sadly not the score on the Kindred. He doesn't have any sorcery, so sadly no Gathering Storm there, but 434 AD. We'll look at the big numbers when they click on AD carries. I'll let you guys know.
This game is on a knife's edge now. I mean, anybody can take this one from the position we're in. When we get into the team fights, definitely look at the Kindred. There's going to be a lot around the Kindred. The 280 carries can just blow people up. I think the Lucian does a little bit more upfront damage, but the Xayah is no slouch either, as you can see. Oh, here's the engage. They want to get onto this Kindred, trying to blow something there, but nothing will work. They can't get the Lamb's Respite, they can't get the GA, and they don't even get the Flash. Only the TP out of Yuka.
And what I want to point at is that the Flash was used by Max, and what that means for Deft is so big. Not having to respect any Flash engage goes from medium expectations to very high expectations about how much damage you can do. Uzi has talked about this many times. It's all about what cooldowns are up from the enemy and what you have to respect, and no Flash on Rakan is a big boon to Deft.
It's gigantic. Maybe that wise man, the wise old man coming on in and knowing exactly when to not panic. His experience coming in and helping him so much as we get later on in this game.
Smeb always trying to find creative angles to come from.
As is Yukal. He's got Flash. Looks like he may be going for it here. Comes from behind, and they're going to get it. Max in the backline is going to disappear. They get the Rakan, and the flank helps out so much to at least take out this support. 75-second death timers, and the Baron has a ridiculous amount of health, but ADD does as well. He's looking to engage from the left side, and KT not ready to go for it just yet. They're going to turn back onto the Baron right now.
Have to be careful. They have to respect Syndra and her ability to get it over the wall. They're actually getting Ian to disengage, and it seems like the call was go away.
Yeah.
Remember, the Elder is going to spawn in 40 seconds. It's going to recall. They know they have to fight for it. Stacking Elder buff is such a big thing. MVP want that second stack and to have just all of the power.
ADD just showed in the top lane, so immediately KT could be at ease and go for it. This is the flank from Yukal. Smith not in position, but Yukal was.
Can you imagine how scary it is to, just as he's going to flash in, see the one little scanner of the Galio being behind you? That is a jump scare that many horror movies will never get to at 55 minutes into what has been a titanic clash. It's been something for everyone. There's been a lot of fun. There's been misplays, super plays, good macro, poor macro. Certainly not a game for the ages in terms of the purist, but if you enjoy some fun League of Legends, this game has been fun. And yet, even with the Baron, the 40-minute plus Baron going to KT, do we know who is going to win this game?
We still don't know. I think it's going to come down to this fight for the second Elder. It has so much power here at 56 minutes on patch 8.12. What world are we living in?
Who's it going to?
Smeb coming in from behind. But they do have vision of him. The Drake is going to reset. They're going for UCal now. They're going to get on top of him, but they don't quite have the damage. Taunt comes in. Ian in the backline gets so low, and they get maxed once again, but down goes UCal. But it's not going to matter. Pilot's still alive, but the rest of his team disappears around him. The TPs are coming in. Mana and Score are going to push them away so they can't back.
Meanwhile,
and KT, they're going for the end.
They should get the end, and they kill Lucian as well. It's going to take the best part of 1 hour, but KT Rolster will 2-0 MVP.
The fans going nuts. They finally do it here. 57 minutes and a half. They take out MVP 2-0. It was a hard one to take them down. MVP putting up a huge fight, but KT in the end are the victors.
Man, Galio focusing him down with how much damage reduction from the ability power that was there. He was actually super hard to do any relevant damage to. And from there, they kited back for Pilot, but who was left behind, who died in the initial, was 3 members of their team. It was already 2v4. No way to actually close it out. The team fight in a lead for MVP, and the sort of fight that KT have been looking for the better part of 30 minutes. Finally the game closed. A wry smile from Score. Was able to make some great plays, especially towards the back end of this game number 2. And KT Rolster will join every other Rift Rivals team in a row. We had all 4 teams play 1 best-of-3 each. All of them go into Rift Rivals with a victory.
As it should be here. Holding true since spring. All these teams doing really well. MVP, I feel like they should be somewhat proud. You know, you get 0-2'd by KT. Game 1 was not close. That's one you should not be proud about. Go back, VOD review that one. I feel like there's a lot to take from this game as well, but they went toe-to-toe with KT. It was a very even game. It was a bit of a fiesta to start off with, and they went toe-to-toe with the best mechanical team in LCK. In the end, I feel like the call to all in onto the Galio was not the right call. Not sure about that one, but he was all alone, so I understand the idea. But it turned out being the best thing for KT.
55 minutes of closely knit fights preceded that, and it's very easy to have a clear mind when we're stepped out of the game, when we're just watching over with the map hacks. MVP played a good game, like you mentioned, and deserves some praise. The 0-2 doesn't really do justice for the series that it was. KT, a weird spot where they'll be happy with the 2-0, they're going to Rift Rivals. Does this performance matter when they play their next LCK game? Probably not. Still not going to be one they want to emulate, still one they can look at and find things to improve on. An improvement over a long 18 best-of-3 season. Really what League of Legends Champions career is all about. They pick up their gear, they close this one out. KT Rolster 2-0, and keeping within touching distance of just that insanely large pack of team around the top.
Well, we have a lot of highlights for you guys. It was an incredibly long game, and it was a lot of this. So much fighting to start off this game. For 26 minutes, we had over 26 kills, and KT just wanted to all in. They wanted to just run face first into MVP. They didn't quite have the Camille to force people to fight them, so they just went for it themselves. Led to a lot of MVP saying, sure, let's do it.
And I think Score had the most League of Legends game, in that he had the best, the worst, the funniest, the most serious, the big outplays, the questionable plays. He had the most League of Legends game of all time, and that's something to take away. Smeb tried to flank at every opportunity, found it increasingly hard, as threatening the flank the 14th time is usually when you are scouted out by the enemy. So many close fights here as people coming over walls, flanks upon flanks, this one with ADD, assassinating death, because of course, the singed assassination. A standard mechanic. Long fights. Hopefully we get a replay of the final fight to just see how little damage the high ability power Galio was actually taking. This is Score getting the 2 kills. Wasn't able to take the mid lane turret, but almost did on the back end. Score, the symbol of KT Rolster in the history of League of Legends. Seems like Flash in StarCraft and Score in League of Legends are the big names for KT fans. UCal had 2 big flashes in. This one, I incorrectly called it warded. It was warded by KT. Whoops. Came over the wall, nicely done there. The second one with the Predator Sweeper, where you realize that your life is ending in just momentary moments. Will we even show that There were so many fights in this game. We're still going, seeing the KT players. I can confirm that Mada is not the MVP of the second game. He just walked past us, didn't catch who is the MVP.
He got robbed from game 1. I would not be surprised if it was Score. I think Yukal had a couple of really great engages, but he wasn't, you know, 5-man engaging every single time.
This was definitely the 200 ELO initiate with the health bar flank from Score. Not the usual standard tactic on the a million marks Kindred that we had in this game. Don't know if we got the final counter. It would have been a lot. Pilot had another great performance. There haven't been...
He might have had the most damage in the game, honestly.
I don't think there's been 20 better performances than Pilot in a loss. This might be top 20, maybe even top 10 performance in a 2-0 loss. It was really good by Pilot. He will feel like he did everything he could, and it's not like many MVP players had a super stinker either. This was a very competitive game towards the end of it. Watching that Elder steal, that was at 400 health. This is the Predator moment. You find out now with that one spot that actually you're getting flanked by the Galio, the least fun realization you could possibly have. What a game. Ends up going the way of KT Rolster. So much damage dealt.
Ooh.
You eke a damage lead, but between the two 80 carries, we see more damage than is most of our games in the LCK.
And you can see how close the game was, especially between 30 and 45 minutes, was nearly even gold around that time for the entirety. And even before that, it never passed 5,000 gold. You know, MVP was always slightly ahead throughout the majority of that early game. And KT, amongst the 26 minutes of 26 kills, were able to stick through just behind MVP.
I liked KT's comp better in the late game, but it was so close. The Singe really struggled to get much done, apart from the one assassination we saw, and I think it's time for the MVP interview, and your MVP for his sick flanks will be Yukal.
Yeah, nicely done. He's really good on the Galio. I think this is beginning to become a pick that people will very much fear and begin to ban out away from this guy. We have old man Score with his broken leg trying to make it up on stage.
He's had surgery, but still, of course, going to be that recuperation time.
Yeah.
No one to carry him this time. He was doing the carrying, and he'll get to the MVP interview.
So, guys, I'll hand it over to Jisun to help with the translation of the interview of these two players.
Thank you very much. This is Jisun with their interview translation. Today we are joined by Yukal and Score from KT Rolster. Congratulations on the win. Thank you. Thank you. How do you feel? The second game was really suffering for us, so I'm a little bit confused right now. But 2-0 victory, yeah, it does worth a lot to us. What about you, Yukal? We should have ended the game earlier for the game 2. I actually need to go to the bathroom real quick. I'm in a hurry. We can go right now. Well, it's okay. I'm okay, I'm good. It's gonna be a long interview. I'm really good. I'm really okay. Should he end the interview for you? No, I'm a strong man. I can handle this. So first game was very clean game on KT Rolster. In the early games, it went as we planned, and there was no mistakes. Yeah, so it was a clean game for us. KT Roasters for teamwork, right? What are your comments about the teamwork? I think we did show our teamwork really well. You know, Deft is the kind of person who never uses TP for early game skirmishes, but today he did use his TP, so I'm really touched by his new strategy. And let's see the replay. Do you remember this one? So I knew that Camille didn't have his E skill, so I knew that we're gonna end the team fight here. But I don't know, Dev was trying to get a kill over there, so he used his TP. Yeah, he just kind of came out of nowhere. The Deft comes out here.
킬 먹고 싶은지 킬 했는데
Yeah, he actually asked for kills, but Yukao took the kill.
레드 버프인데 미드라이너를 좋아하죠.
I mean, he got the red buff I needed.
일단 그만큼 그 서로 간에 합이 좀 여러 가지 파이팅을 위한 합은 잘 맞았다 이런 생각이 좀 드는데.
So that was a great teamwork from KT Rolster. So moving on to game 2.
와 정말 성장세.
You guys locked in Kindred in jungle.
사실상 뭐 트리플 킬 먹는 장면도 있었고.
You picked up triple kills and a lot of super plays from score. In addition, there was a lot of engagement with you, Yukao, with your taunt. So what are your comments about the game 2?
게임 내적인 부분이 일단 초반에 좀 많이
So speaking of the games, you know, we had hard times in the early games.
게임하는데도 정신이
So
없었고
we are really like a lot of very confused in the games, and the game didn't went as we planned. Yeah. So I'm not really satisfied. So it was a long game, and you guys have some jinx about long games. So yeah, you guys could have been a little bit worried. Especially, well, MVP took the Elder Dragon, right?
그래도 저희가 싸움하면 이긴다는 확신이
But we had the confidence that we will win the team fight. So yeah, they did steal it, but we didn't really care a lot.
별 문제가 없었다. 그 장면은 사실 그때 이제 유카 선수 약간 좀 어려운 장면들이 있었는데 그 이후에 뭐.
Well, after that, I think you guys managed to make a comeback, right?
최장 시간 경기가 나왔어요.
So it was the longest game of LCK Summer Split.
왜냐면 이런 상황에서 KT가 어떻게 보면 자신의 징크스를 극복한
So maybe this was the chance for you guys to overcome your jinx. So how do you feel?
일단은 좀 게임하면서도 좀
Well, during the games, I felt like yeah, it sure was a long game.
끝이 안 나니까 좀 많이 힘들었고.
It was really hard for us since the game never ended.
최장 경기를
But
하면서도
even though we had the longest game of the split, we didn't lose our focus. So and we picked up the victory in the end. So I feel really happy.
좋은 보람들이 충분히 남아 있을 것 같습니다. 제가 사실 아까 유카 선수 다녀오라고 얘기했던 이유가 제가 한 분을 더 모셔야 되거든요.
Well, because we actually asked Yukao to go to the bathroom because we're gonna bring Smep up here to celebrate his birthday. We heard it was his birthday yesterday, and we're Spo TV, right? We have prepared something for him. So let's bring him up to the stage.
그래요. 우리가 시간이 좀 굉장히 촉박해가지고.
So you know we're out of time right now. So anyway,
지금 사실은
congratulations on the victories and your birthday.
근데 이거 괜찮을까 싶어 유카 선수에게. 괜찮아요? 일단 지금 괜찮아요?
So Yukao, are you okay?
빠르게 진행하도록 해서 빠르게. 우리가 생일 노래는
We have to rush a little bit more.
일단 들어주시고. 혹시 괜찮으시면 초 좀 부탁드려도 될까요?
Could you light up the candles?
마이크는 제가 잡을게요. 네네. 저희가 이제 생일은 확실히 해야 되니까.
You know, we always have to celebrate everyone's birthday here.
역시. 유카 좀 도움 주세요. 네. 일단은 우리가 두 줄 있는데 두 줄 다 붙이는 건 안 될 것 같고.
We don't have enough time right now, so
뒷줄만 붙이게. 해피만 불타.
let's just light up the happy letters in the back line.
그리고 생일 축하 노래를 죄송한데 약간 빨리 부르도록 하겠습니다.
And could you sing the song in a kind of faster tempo?
오케이. 노래 시작. 생일 축하합니다. 좀 더.
Faster.
좀 더. 사랑하는 스맵의 어서 생일 축하합니다.
Happy birthday, Smap.
생일 선물도 바로.
And this is your birthday present.
저희가 생일 선물 한번 준비해.
Yeah, we saw you borrowing Yuko's minifans, so we bought you this minifan for your own.
보자. 미니 선풍기예요. 아까 전에 유카 선수에게 선풍기를 좀 머리를 말리는 장면이 있어가지고 저희가 일단 미니 선풍기를 한번
This
준비해.
is your own minifans. You can use it from now on.
부탁드릴게요. 왜냐면 시청자 질문이 이렇게 나왔었거든요. 애초에 오늘 하루 경기 전에.
So we have a question from a fan saying, "How did you spend your birthday yesterday?"
경기가 또 오늘 있었기 때문에
We have match today, so we were practicing really hard.
만족스러운 생일은 못 보냈지만.
Well, it wasn't a happy birthday for myself, but a lot of people celebrated my birthday, so and I got a lot of presents from my fans, so it was a very happy day for me.
굉장히 멋진 마무리가 된 것 같은데요. 네네. 죄송해요, 나 진짜 스맵 선수랑 더 말하고 싶은데.
You know, we want to have a longer interview, but we have to wrap up by now. So the last question. Rift Rivals is coming up. What are your comments?
일단은 저희 팀 같은 경우에는 다들 뭐 국제적으로 이제
You know, KT Rolster, all the members,
국제 팀한테는 웬만하면
we never get defeated by the international team, so we're really confident. And you know, all the other LCK teams, we're ready to show the strengths of LCK League. Well, yeah, in the last Rift Rivals, you guys all performed so well as KT Rolster. What about you, Yukal?
저는 그 중국에 좋아하는 미드라이너 선수들이 많기 때문에.
Well, I have a lot of mid laners that I like in China, so I want to hurry up and see them in Rift Rivals. Smep, you are the leader of your team and you're the captain of KT Rolster. So, what are your comments about going into the Rift Rivals? Well, we're representing Korean League, so I'm going to make sure to come up with better results. Thank you. So this will be the end of the interview with Smap, Yukal, and Score from KT Rolsters. And Kate, I'll pass it back to our casters. Thank you.
G Willikers, that was a fast one.
Oh, did you see how fast Yukal ran away?
Off the stage. He's like, I am out of here.
Maybe the Summer Games is the next thing for him because he's got a pretty fast dash, that boy.
Yeah, and I said it in the chat, but the thing that kept popping up and scrolling was we're increasing the speed of the interview for the health of Yukal. And yeah, they went really fast, actually. That was a very fast SpoTV interview.
The funniest thing is that they actually didn't need the interview to go faster, they just meme made it faster.
Yeah.
A meme had to end faster. It obviously did need to end faster for Yukal, but he got through, and here we go. Let's talk about Rift Rivals. As the Rift Rivals teams all came off victories, we've closed out 8-12 and week 3. We said goodbye to Aatrox. Thank you very much for your contribution.
Oh.
You were a bit busted by the end, so
sadly, he was so good.
I know, but the new one's so bad, so we won't see that one. Sadly, after a couple of hot fixes later, maybe. These are the Rift Rivals schedules, Korean Standard Time starting, as SpoTV will be doing the Korean broadcast. The English broadcast is happening too, so do tune in. Similar times to the LCK, although the 2:50 p.m. Korean Standard Time start is about 50 minutes later than our Super Wednesday start. So we might actually have a very early day for day number 2. And just to close up, that you guys know as well, there will be English coverage of Rift Rivals. Atlas and I will be going over from the LCK. Sadly, Valdez, you will not be there. But you get a fun, long holiday, I guess, and that's pretty cool, too.
I'll be holding out the fort here, waiting until the LCK begins again. And we have a couple of great matches. KT versus Africa will be the next one here at SPO. That'll be on July 15th. And then July 17th is when I get to put Griffin's logo all over my face.
Sounds good.
And cast them on their next game because I lost that bet when they destroyed King Zone. It's going to be a fun day. Definitely have a long break, as we saw on the schedule. The 11th of the Wednesday is actually going to be the first day that LCK comes back, but that's going to be at OGN with one of either Atlas and Achilleos and you.
Thank you very much for joining us for 39 best of 3s in 3 weeks. It's been insane pace with 86 best of 1s already. 4 less than an LCS season already gotten through. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a lot of fun over here joining you, Valdez, for an extra SpoTV day. There will still be Friday broadcasts. They're going to be on OGN, I believe, for the majority going forward.
Yeah.
All you guys need to know is if you want to watch Korean League of Legends and it's about 5 p.m. Korean Standard Time, turn on the channel and you can feel pretty hard done by if it's not on.
Every day except Monday here in Korea at 5 p.m. we have League of Legends. So that's we are going to have one more Friday at SPO. It's just not going to happen for like 3 weeks. So
it just means a little bit less Valdez, but when we get it, it's going to be great.
It'll be a bit of a surprise, you know. One of those Fridays will pop up and it's like, hey, we're here at SPO.
Yeah.
You know? And we'll do a fast interview. Maybe another pro gamer will have a toilet issue. you know, it's going to be a fun one for sure.
Maybe we'll fade out with some weird technical problems like
That
our
was
first
fun.
series. Today was a day. Today was a day. Everything happened today, and we had a game where everything happened. So a lot of fun there. Sad not to be bringing you as much Korean League of Legends next week, but we've got the 4 teams going over. Big for the Africa Freaks, especially as being an organization that's never gone international in League of Legends. Rift Rivals should be a lot of fun, and I wonder if Korea can do it, because I got to say, the one thing you can give China the big edge on is that all 4 teams that are representing for China are in great form at the same time. And Korea is so up and down that all 4 teams have looked good at times and not so good at other times.
I mean, you look at Kingzone and Africa, they should be okay. SKT and KT, we'll see where they're at on the day. But either way, guys, we'll see you next time here at SPO TV. Make sure to tune into Rift Rivals. Should be a lot of fun. But until next time here at SPO, we bid you adieu. Thank you for watching. Good night.